So this is just me putting these neurons to good use. It's what I call a dissertation. Just my thoughts towards a breakdown of love versus desire, since I talked about it before, but just like a little short or whatever. So here we go. Nowadays, the general public of modern society has conformed to superficial gratification and self-centered success. There are few remnants of those who long for genuine connection, but those who do seek unfeigned and authentic experiences are muffled due to oversaturated bias and one-sided algorithms. Is this because shallow, depthless material is lucrative, or is it because these long-term, unprofitable consumerist topics provide a palatable satisfaction instead of harsh and bitter truths? I say it is both, much like how fast food is unhealthy, yet are billion-dollar industries. This signifies the negative choices promoted and selected that lead to poor life paths. What is not paid attention to is how society plays a major role in causing you to pick short-term pleasure over necessary nourishment, whether that be whether that be physical or mental well-being. The average human attention span chases this instant gratification instead of developing a healthy appetite for true sustenance. Why is this? Is it oversimplified to human nature, classified as overachieving and unnecessary? Surely eating healthy isn't an underachievement, so living healthy should most definitely be more than a consideration. We're all given a choice. Either align oneself with socialistic demands or go in ways that support mental acuity. It is rare and nearly impossible to do both simultaneously. Educational achievements, let's go down a little too far. Educational achievements and career licensing are based off of performances and a series of assessments. Only upon passing these trials and examinations can one be considered or given the coveted position in society, wherein the highest paying jobs are amongst the highest in workplace suicides. It is at these universities colleges where you learn economy and GDP and not the art of appreciation, where you learn business cycles and financial markets, but not the teachings of patience. School, the customary version of education, conforms your brain's initial processing to viewing the world as is, to fitting in a systemic society. Classroom learning has its benefits. Classroom learning has benefits in its place, but outdoor learning outweighs them substantially. From multi-sensory engagement to social emotional development, outdoor learning is without a doubt the better selection, as opposed to some resources the indoors have to offer due to societal placement. So the question remains, what is the actuality of life's grading system outside of the institutionalized education, and why isn't what's learned in the indoors applicable to real life problems, for the most part? One may find those answers in John D. Rockefeller's quote, who donated over $150 million to the General Education Board in the early 1900s, which is probably like way more than that now, like worthwise. His donations allowed the Board of Education to be what it is today. His exact words were, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." This saying alone and his donations are evident of formulating ways to suppress mental capacity and growth to fit this systemic tyranny. Test can be defined as a procedure intended to establish the quality, performance, or reliability of something, especially before it is taken into widespread use. Popular opinion would state that degrees aren't worth much at all in real crisis, as to say a pandemic or a blackout. Could it be that we're given these choices not to see how well we thrive in society, but how we handle the pressures of overall humanity and to lend one's skills to the betterment on that premise? So, where does one learn how to pass these tests of life? What is the currency that transcends the happiness? There is a saying that money can't buy everything, and this is absolutely valid. The richest of people can be the unhappiest, while one makes minimum wage, or one who makes, minimum wage, is content with life and family. If the institutions of higher learning were capable of providing the absolutes of life, then the money produced from these careers will be equivalent to progressive mental health, and it is not. That career, that societal position was a desire, and something was neglected. This is why many who reach the top are dissatisfied, because their mental environment is undeveloped but are surrounded by things that keep them from doing so. Love can be defined as the sacrifice one makes for others, for the other's survival, doing what it takes for others to make it through. But if those efforts and talents go towards uplifting a company or business, it is humanity that takes the hit, putting your energy towards a mindless, thoughtless, parasitic machine. As a previous employee in corporate America, I grasped the feeling of being underappreciated. The, Scroll down a little too far again. I grasped the feeling of being underappreciated. The fact of being looked at as a number was the only consideration of how productive one is. This is their unpleasant reality and the mentality of most large and some small business collaborators globally. The Three-Fifths Compromise is a history lesson on legislation passed that embodies this visual. During slavery, the slave owners wanted a way to capitalize the amount of persons on their property for taxation purposes. Only the slaves were not counted as a full human being. Instead, they were counted as three-fifths of a person. If one were to explain if one were to explain this to most employees almost everywhere, they wouldn't feel much different. With that in mind, what does one think of what happens to the average mentality subjected to these environments? This treatment becomes internalized and repeated on a micro level. Survivor syndrome is more common than one may think. If there was an experience of a layoff or a traumatic event along those lines, you will be susceptible to a psychological diagnosis such as this. Sadly, most don't even realize that they've been affected. Symptoms go unnoticed and untreated. After these traumatic experiences, many have been left with the results, which are a diminished sense of self, increased anxiety, emotional reactivity, and a tendency to withdraw or be less engaged. All of these are obviously negatives towards mental health, but the worst part is many don't even reverse the damage. Scrolling. Instead of introspection, outward relationships are formed through trauma bonding, and either party is clueless as to what real progress is outside of comfort. External satisfaction is conditioned to be accepted as positive advancement as opposed to psychological well-being. I'm gonna read that one more time. I think that's an important part. External satisfaction is conditioned to be accepted as a positive advancement as opposed to psychological well-being. It does take an immense amount of strength to come to this realization, but it can be simplified to a choice. A choice to love oneself above social norms and a decision to see it through. To understand that self-control, patience with self, kindness, and the humility to know you don't have all the answers are amongst the characteristics needed to perform this task. Internal advancement is a necessity, but it is eschewed by the general public. It may be a nice conversation piece, but the actuality of its process is ostracized, which is a definite fact. Try to grow a garden past a certain size and see how fast the government gets involved. Tell your family you want to end that successful career in order to pursue a passion and see how much opposition you get. Self realization is a real thing, but so is insensitivity towards something called negative introspection. Measuring yourself against the system designed to parasite and not edify will always leave you feeling inadequate. This is the reason why some of the highest paid entertainers and career professionals end up taking their own life. The human body is a reflection of creation that is earth, and technology is a reflection of the human brain. And technology has been used as a tool to steer the masses into dependency. The history of electricity is darker than one may think, one may know. Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison were alive during the same time. Tesla promoted alternating current, which is wireless and beneficial, while Edison campaigned for direct current, which is the more expensive wire-based connection that is more widely used. Edison, along with J.P. Morgan, Chase Bank, his financier triumphed due to the fact that they were able to make more money through the necessary products and usage. Read that one more time. Edison, along with J.P. Morgan, his financier triumphed due to the fact that they were able to make more money through the necessary products and usage. This is despite the fact of AC, or alternating current, proving to be easier and more cost effective. Tesla was even able where am I? Tesla was even able to power the city of Buffalo, New York from Niagara Falls. That's a vast distance, ain't it? But the financial pimps saw after their own greed instead of the universal betterment. This was called the War of the Currents. If balance between technology and human life was instituted in ways of fairness and equality, then there might have been a possibility for positive coexistence. But since history shows oppression is more favorable to some, positive advancement in the battle to keep moving forward is inevitable. You are more valuable than a biweekly paycheck. The trick is, you not only have to notice this, but take action in the sense of valuing yourself in the manner of truth, love, and humility. So, this is my take on love versus desire, a more factual approach. Bringing some actual data that I researched into it, because it is a big difference between love and desire. But the obvious is that, especially modern society, it's a lot of external things, and that's a fact of desire, and love is depth. It causes for accountability. So that's my take, and thoughts, comments. Let me know. This is it. I'm gonna try to do one of these at least once a week, and get some traction here. Put some of these thoughts out. Take care. Now, how do I end this?